Good morning, Nigeria. Welcome to Ways Breakfast, the show that cuts through the noise and gets straight to the point. The cost of living is rising, and so is the pressure on schools. Also, there is no greater pride for a parent than seeing their child come home with a good report card. But when does the fight for survival cross a line? What if those high marks aren't real? We're talking on a shocking claim today that some schools are adding marks to failing students' scores just to keep them from leaving. It is a betrayal of trust, and we are calling it what it is, the report card scam. We're here to expose a practice that is not just unethical, but an existential threat to the integrity of our education system. My name is Goodness Idehe, and joining me to shake off some unethical practices are the critical thinking triumph Akiboye and the key pointer Chioma Kalu. Together, we'll pull back the layers on this issue and hear your thoughts. Let's dive in. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning, Goodness.
So, how was your day coming here?
I loved it. It was good. I was telling her that a good Samaritan cleared my bills to the office.
That's
a new one thing. That's a
interesting.
good
I
thing.
know. So it was good. Even though I feel exhausted, I got home pretty late last night, but yeah, I'm
Sorry
good.
about that.
Thank
You know,
you.
one thing that I would really love to commend about Lagos State or Lagos people generally, I know they have, their lapses and all of that, but I can actually say that Lagos people are very nice.
Yeah.
They are
yeah,
very
actually.
nice. They are very, very nice. And I've experienced it in different dimensions. So I'll just say, aside all that let us talk about that. But Lagos people are very nice people.
Yeah, I share that sentiment. I think it's a Nigerian factor, but Lagos are really nice people.
I
Right?
mean, I've
Lagos
branched different
residents,
states, and I can say
Yeah.
that this is the state that I came to.
They're really nice. I have a friend in the bus stop, one of the bus stops, Oshodi. So each time I'm not booking a ride home and I decide to take the public transportation, this guy, once he sights me, oh my God, you need to see his excitement.
The joy.
Very,
And then
very
if
nice.
it's just maybe one space remaining in the bus, or maybe it's for you
Is it
watch
to
one
make
person,
sure-
and tell me to go. And then by the time I'm seated, he'll ask me, he speaks Yoruba. I don't speak Yoruba. I don't understand Yoruba. But for the sake of this guy, I've started picking things together. I'm serious. He's an elderly man. And then he will ask me Yoruba if I want bottled water or mineral. I'm like, hey, how much do you
You're
have?
so special.
I don't know, but
No,
it really excites me when I see him. So yeah, these are part of the highlights that make my day
I can
after
go on
work.
and on, even if they don't know you. I mean, I remember
Yeah.
there was a driver that has offered me water. He insisted I, took the pure water. Do you know that pure water now eventually came handy for me? By the time I got to
You
my
see.
destination, somebody needed water, needed water urgently. And I was just wondering, where do we get water from? Then I remembered
God.
that the driver that
I'm giving you
and I was
water.
telling him that I don't need his water because he was even getting me angry already.
You see?
So
Have you shared your food with driver before? Oh, I have.
can go
I
on
bought
and
a
on.
jar of chin chin, right? And I was sitting in the front. And then they were like, Fage, how you doing now? I'm like, I'm fine. And be nice to these people. That's when they reciprocate. It's when you're trying to, that classism thing we talked about
Yeah.
yesterday, when you're trying to put it out, that's when they now want to show you. So I said, I'm fine. He said, I enjoy your teaching. I said, yes, so would you want to? He said, yes, ma. I opened it up. That's how we started sharing chit and gisting. It was really
For me, my
nice.
own day coming down here was actually awesome, right?
Okay.
Even though I had to board a bus this time, I couldn't get
Yeah.
a car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And like when you said that you got a good Samaritan that paid your fare, I think I saw a car as well that actually carried people at the back. You know, these Ilos car that has this back
Oh God, that
space.
thing is so risky, but okay.
And people, I didn't take it though, but people actually boarded the car and they didn't pay for it. It was
That's
a nice
nice.
one.
Lagos people are nice people. We love them.
really nice.
All right, so our viewers, let's go on a short break to reflect on significant events in history. When we come back, we would look through the papers of today. Stay tuned. Welcome back. As what are your thoughts on these historical milestones? I would love to hear your insight and perspective. And remember that our comment section is there for you, and our phone lines are open. Please call us on 0702 500 7749 or 0701 4242 420. If you're yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Official Upgrade TV, click the subscribe button now, like and share the link. Tune in to channel 145 on your GoTV and don't miss this. Right, so we'll move straight to our news headlines this morning, starting with The Punch. And Triumph will lead us in that.
All right, so let's take a look at the paper this morning. And we have here Nigerian embassies eat by unpaid rent, salary arrears. And 2027, ahead of the 2027 election, PDP obedient tackle Wike over Jonathan Obi. Another one here says Dangote fuel export surge amid foreign refineries shut down. And the screaming headline here says federal government may seek Ekpa's repatriation after Finland 6-year jail term. Right us to the story. Government will take further action after judgment review. This is coming from AGF. Ruling wants to extremist. This is coming from the information minister. And it is also in the report from the federal government that $600 million monthly diaspora remittances proof of reforms. And we have another year that says resident doctors give federal government 10-day ultimatum. Now, the stories that we just pick one after the other. Quickly, I'll just pick the first one here that says PDP obedient tackle Wike over Jonathan Obi. Now, obedience, the obedient, and then people who love Obi, they are coming out to tackle people who are saying that Obi wants to come back to PDP in 2027. And they are coming out to state that Obi did not actually, has not yet said it. And, in the report that I was reading, they were saying things like, Obi is stating that, when he was contesting the last time, he was abusing the party. He was talking about the party being threat. And then, I was thinking about the possibilities of it happening because these things actually happen. So I'm not going to be taken by, by shock if we actually see Peter Obi.
It's politics.
Deflecting to PDP.
It's politics.
Deflecting to PDP.
Yeah.
So I just think Nigerians should not be shocked. The obedience should not be shocked if you come out tomorrow and then you see that it deflected to PDP, because these are the things that play every time. At the end of the day, like Chairman said, it's politics.
It's politics.
I think that will also revalidate this aspect in Nigeria where we always have, two dominant party. It's just like saying that I know that, of course, Nigeria is not practicing, two-party system because we have different types of party system, one-party system like that. But it's also giving it that that look, right, that Nigeria is hell-bent in two-party system where we have just APC and PDP. So, okay, let's move to The Guardian.
So, okay, before we move to The Guardian, there's another interesting story that we need to talk about. It says that $600 million monthly diaspora remittance proof of reforms. Now, what that means is that people, in diaspora send an average monthly $600 million to Nigeria. These are the money coming into Nigeria every month from that. So the funny part is that federal government are now coming to say that the reason why that kind of money is entering, from $200 million to $600 million is because, Nigeria is getting better, is a better country, so they want to invest more. And in my mind, I'm like, these people are sending money for their families.
Amen. It's all I can say. Amen. Whatever they say.
Very funny. I said, okay, oh, well, no problem. So,
all right, moving on to the Guardian newspapers. We have FG set up committee to address foreign missions debt. CSO laments state's defiance of Supreme Court's ruling on LG allocations. Local carriers struggle as foreign airlines raking $1.7 billion from Nigerian markets. That's interesting. All right, Finnish court jails Ekpa 6 years for terrorism and fraud. Ekpa is a self-acclaimed IPOB leader. Anyway, let's not dwell on that. APC, state government, El Rufai trade words over insecurity in Kaduna. Nigeria to reallocate dormant oil blocks, sign new production sharing contracts. And for my story of interest, FG urges traditional medicine practitioners to standardize their product. I think I like this
So
because
they're buying into that now, gradually.
well, so we won't totally rule out traditional medicine, right? The effectiveness of traditional medicine, right? But the challenge I have is a good 90% of it are not scientifically proven, right? You see people opt for it when they can't afford the white man's, the conventional medications, right? But now, what we don't know, because they are not tested, because there is no, and some of them say, oh, NAFDAC approved number. I don't even know how they get that approval from NAFDAC. Now, over the times, you see, as you're taking it, you're seeing a side effect. You don't know that it is this medicine giving you. You're seeing inflammation of the lungs. You're seeing kidney failure. And you will think, oh, madam, that's the reason you should be taking this thing more often. And I remember one time when I was quite younger, I was having period cramps at some point, and somebody was advising my mom to give me one traditional medicine that I would never feel this pain again. And I'm like,
Take it.
I think I was very young. I think, yeah, I did do. Now,
So, what's the back end story?
now the the result was I didn't feel the pain the next month. Oh, I did not. It was seamless. But guess what? The next 2 months, the pain.
It felt like they combined, 2 months pain.
Do you understand? So they really, I feel, I like this move. I really commend the federal government for this move, because you have to subject these things you're doing. If you feel like this is right, some people say, oh, God-given giftings, whatever. It's okay. But subject it to scientific proofs. Let it be tested the way other medications have been proven. Do you understand? So we're not ruling out. After all, we talked about Nigeria First policy where we are patronizing our own things, right? Traditional medicine should not be ruled out, yes. But don't just move it from your backyard and push it into the market. Let it be. Let there be a standardization that happens. Let there be a check that happens. That's what I think.
Just to add to what she said about pushing it, from your backyard. So, you know that whenever you enter public transport, you see
Oh, my Lord.
Marketing it, right?
Ah,
yeah, I've
there's-
seen that.
there's-
marketing.
I'm sorry,
But
there's
the
this
funniest
guy.
thing
And
is
then,
that those drugs,
they
those traditional drugs, right, they usually have NAFDAC number.
That's what we
my
are saying.
problem.
That even with the NAFDAC number, it feels like some due diligence are not being done. Because if you are in this public transport, you hear them give you 10,000. They will tell you 10,000 problems with just one.
This guy one day told us I used to make, when I came into Lagos newly, I used to make videos of these things, right? This guy said, take this one with granuts. I'm like, okay, so if I take it with peanuts, what will happen if I take it with cashew? It will not work. It was just very funny.
All right, so let's quickly move to the Daily Trust so that we won't just omit the newspaper. So on the Daily Trust, we have below the masthead, that's on the foreign, so this is like a foreign news. Over 800 killed in Afghanistan earthquake. And beside that, we have the Abuja Cardinal rail tracks to be restored in 10 days. I think I saw a clip of it, right, a few days ago, where the train had to, detrack from its track. Yeah. So finally, the minister says within 10 days it will be restored. And beside that, motorists react as CNG price eats 380 naira. I'm not going to be taking the rest of the stories, but looking at that, the motorists react as CNG price eats 380 naira. So across Nigeria, as always, the common man have come out to express their mixed feelings that initially the CNG price was 230 naira, and now it has rose to 380 naira, and that's per standard cubic meter. And this is something like, there's a situation where most people currently now opt for CNG options, right?
Yeah.
They have to convert either their car or their buses, right? Because to get it, it's quite cheaper, unlike fuel that you have, at a very higher price. So at this point where gradually it's even the CNG, which is like the solution, right? So if you cannot afford fuel, at least you can afford getting CNG. Now it's now getting increased. There's now a hike in price, and there's even no regulation because from the story, there are some stations that they sell at 400 and something naira, and now we're having 380 naira. But actually, The NNPC station, that's the Central Business District of Abuja, has reported that that hike in price is allegedly unclear. So for now, the price still remains at 280 naira. But at the same time, they will check out and see if there are other regulations they can do to that. So now we'll go on a short break right now. And when we return, we'll get into the leading reasons behind schools falsifying the students' academic performance. Stay tuned. Welcome back to today's breakfast show, right? Where we have a topic of today that says the report card scam. What schools now do to retain their students. And of course, I still have my dearest, co-anchors on the table to talk about this. I remember that you also are also a pivotal, viewers that needs to contribute to today's conversation. Don't forget to use the comment section to share your views. And as well, going forward, we all know that the high cost of living is forcing parents to reevaluate every expense. And for many, that means changing their children's school. In response, we are hearing that troubling stories from teachers and even concerned parents. A teacher revealed that she was instructed to, add some scores to failing students. Another parent discovered her son's poor performance was being masked with inflated grades, just as she was considering a school change. This is a practice that can damage a child's intellectual development for life. The big question now is, what does this practice mean for the future of our education system and the integrity of our schools? I have my beautiful co-leaders, that will give me a beautiful side view, different side view. Probably Triumph will, supports the notion of you adding scores to your... So let me hear from Triumph. What do you have to say?
Isn't it funny?
Yeah.
And at the same time, as much as it's funny, I don't consider it new. Because these are things that not actually from time past, but as we keep evolving, it feels like I am always against Gen Z.
The irony of life.
It feels like I am always, against, and then, meanwhile I am part of them and all of that. But the way, everything is unfolding is getting really, really scary, right? Even while we were going to school, we had different situations of school will definitely come out to say that, okay, after a while, you would not be able to pay for this certain value that you're getting at this certain amount. So let us increase the fees. However, what I did not have in the school that I went to is that they now begin to falsify the records. It did not happen that way. It did not happen that way. I remember that the primary school I attended, even if they are increasing, the standard will remain. The standard will remain. But when we have gotten to the place where you can't even, cane a child again in school, that can't happen again. Because you want to cane whose child? Sometimes, I have a different view to this story that as much as we're talking about the school, it is also on the parents, because there are some parents of this school, there are some parents of this, these children that they are the one endorsing these things. So it's just a whole lot of things to look at.
I get what you're
honestly.
saying. Like, just some parents were like, "Oh, I'm paying such huge amounts,
And my kid is
kids
getting
are
this
having
kind of
poor grades.
results."
That means what's going
Some
on?
might say it straight, some might not say it straight and be cutting corners. I know that for some of these schools, now I had the opportunity of being part of an online academy, right? And they basically get their students through referrals, right? They basically get their children through referrals. So if you don't treat that parent well, you might not have the opportunity to get like 2 more parents from this particular parent. So it's just a whole lot of things.
Okay, that I can relate with, right? So like my elder sister had worked in a school, one of the big schools in Lagos State. And the thing that used to make me laugh is whenever she comes home, she usually threatens the students with grades. If you make noise in the class, I'm going to deduct your grades. And like, it has gotten to the extent that even this student now sees grade as, how I put it, something that they must not, like, 1 mark must not miss out of it, right? So they will want to do every possible best, even if you didn't do well. There was a time she told me about a student that came to meet her courageously, and I said that, ma'am, that you failed me, I had 47 in your chemistry subject. At least, can you push it to 50? Because why? My parents
It's the audacity for me.
That was it. That was what the child actually told. I was like, oh, what did you not tell the student? She was like, she told the student that next time she should do better. Then she will get a better grade. I was like, why will you come? To the extent that she had to report, the student had to report to her own parents when she got back home that this teacher intentionally failed her, right? Because,
Primary
that
school,
is just
I'm
3
failing.
marks now. That was there in 3 marks. Just give me 3 marks. Then she will move to 50 marks. That's like the bar line for you to get a C in your school. So I was like, okay, what's the parents of nowadays? What are they thinking about, right? I think most especially this might not really apply in public schools, right? Because I know for sure I attended a public school, Shomolu Senior High School, and I know for sure even if you have, there was a point I was in GSS too. I took 3rd position. But my maths, I think I had 40 something, and they told me that I had to repeat. 3rd position, and one how many number of students in the class. Oh, well, it was really terrible. It was as if I had to like be begging my dad that please. My dad is someone that is like a disciplinarian, right? He doesn't tolerate. Once he sees that your academic result is not good, don't just come home. Just generally stay back in school. That's it. Oh. You must take either the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd. That's just it.
I would blame the 2 parties involved, the parents and the school. I'll tell a little story.
Okay.
When I was very young, my elder sister, we were all in the same school, myself, my elder brother, and my elder sister. My elder sister is a straight A student, very smart woman. So one day, she came home, and she was crying profusely. Daddy was like, what's going on? I said, Daddy, I came 3rd. But I know it's not my result. My father knowing his child, and my dad then had time to look at our report cards and all of that. So my dad went to school the next day. And how are you people pulling my child to, I think, 3rd or 5th, I think. Do you know at the end of the day, we discovered that a parent paid the teacher
For the position.
for the 1st position. Way back, look at when it happened, early 2000s, right? And I'm wondering, at this point, how bad it has become. So now, parents are the ones, threatening the schools. And now, sadly, education is treated like a market commodity and not a social good anymore. So we end up raising people that look successful but are not capable. Now you see them going into the workspace, you see them going into the labor market, and they are very useless. I had a friend telling me about this organization, I wouldn't mention them, and because the Oga's nephew was done with school, they gave the guy a position that God knows that guy should not be in that position for the next 5 years. Collecting a whooping sum, if I tell you the guy's salary, in millions. But the guy doesn't know jack. In fact, he doesn't act like he went to school. These are the ripple effects that happen when you do these things. So parents are you're no longer concerned, about instilling discipline. You're no longer, trying to teach children accountability. You're not encouraging hard work. But now you're normalizing deception. Do you understand? I was telling someone, when I was doing my postgraduate diploma course 2 years ago, I made sure I say if you cheat in this exam, I will report you. Oh yes, I did that.
And if it's somebody like you that both the parents
They
and
hate
student,
me.
they will hate you
They
so
hate
much.
me a lot. So during the exam period, because I'm not a night reader,
Okay.
but I said, let me prove a point, right? I read in the night. I will stay up. I will read. I will read. I will come downstairs because there was a facility we stayed. And then I'll see people drinking, having fun. These are my classmates that were going to have exam the next day. I said, no problem. During the exams,
I'm going to close my books.
I didn't just close my books.
People want to get
I
away
didn't
from
just-
you as
Your
far as
books.
possible.
I made sure that I was a principality. I didn't just close my books. I wrote my exams because I was well prepared. I finished on time.
Then you
And
have
then as
the
I was
watchdog.
going out, I've told this story before. As I was going out, I saw one guy in his car. This is the guy that left and said, oh, that he wants to use the restroom. I saw him in his car reading and copying. I went back. I said, Vijay, come and see. Yes, I did it. I did it, right? Because I needed to prove a point to both myself and the society, right? Yes, I graduated top of my class. But you see, those people hate me. Those people hate me, but I'm like, if you was an adult, most of my classmates were married people. What are you teaching your kids? You know, what are you ladies now that is in your car reading? If you see your child doing this, these are parents that will do assignment for their children.
Yes.
You will not do the assignment, you will watch cartoon, you will sleep.
Then in the morning, when it's 2 minutes,
you will
you
now
see
come
another
back and do
handwriting
this.
set on
Exactly.
their
Sometimes they use left hand
notebook.
and do it, so it looks like the child. But we know these things. What is your legal standing? What is your moral backing for you to correct your child when your child does this? So that's why we're seeing all of these things. That's why the society is going haywire. Nothing is working. And I beg to also say that we don't have a right to condemn our leaders there. Because
It
look at
starts
what we're
from us.
doing.
You know, I was saying it. I was talking to you before this program that, you know, from the top down, people have about 50,000 things that they need to, you need to figure out in your life first before you even start casting stones on every other
Yes.
person.
I think I can even relate
serious.
when you made mention of why how some parents, pay that first or second position for their kids, right? In a way, that brings me to have that understanding of even some parents, right? Especially for those students that are writing the senior WAEC, do we even literally boldly even pay for this
Yes,
examination
now.
malpractice for their students?
They call it logistics. They call it logistics.
It's really logistics. All right, let's go. Let's take a look at this question, right? This is about flexible payments because now the thing is, schools are now complaining that the economy in the country is it's really dilapidating, right? And it's affecting even the money coming into the school, right? I know obviously because that was far back, a few months ago. I was like a part-time teacher in a school, right? And I had to stop because even the money they were later offering me was very, very small, right? What was the issue? The principal told me that the parents were unable to pay their children's school fees. So I understand the situation in the country where everybody's trying to manage. Even some parents had to withdraw their students from probably the big school they were paying like thousands of naira to go to another school where they can also get quality education. But this is about an alleged manipulation of a child's academic performance. So let's say about the desperation of some school management. What can you say about that? Because there are some school management like, oh, okay. They will even give you a payment plan. And at the same time, they will say, okay, don't worry, your child will do well. And you know that your child is actually not doing well. But because of the money, you are the parent that will on time pay your school fees. Probably even before the term begins, you pay your school fees ahead. And now you see the performance of your child, which is not good, right, from a very honest teacher. And they have to tell them, don't worry, from next term. And the next term, you saw that, this is your child that was always having C, 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 F. Suddenly is having A, B's, A, B's.
Miracle, not entire Jesus. But, it's really sad that schools would cut ethical corners to survive. I like to say schools are beyond being a teacher or school owner. It's beyond a profession. I feel like it's a lifelong commitment. I feel like it's a ministry.
It's just like media. Even if it doesn't pay well, you stay with it.
Because now, these children, these are their foundational stage. So you have to have the integrity, the commitment to say, I want to instill. That's why schools have mottos. They have missions, visions. But some of them are just write-ups these days. Some of them are not coined out of a place of commitment. So it's really sad that they now cut ethical corners, right? But it's not supposed to be. Now you're being desperate. I understand it. The economy is not good. Inflation, rising costs. You don't want to lose customers. But what's the cost of your conscience? How do you sleep with yourself at night? Knowing that this child that you're graduating from primary 6 to JSS1, nothing comma side. How do you sleep with yourself? So I personally think, let's leave desperation. Let's leave. There are people that I know that would rather stop a business than to tarnish their image. Do you understand? So let's leave desperation aside. I understand the look of things, but if you're committed to why you started this, well, some people start it as, it's business.
It's business.
Another source of income. But some people actually want to teach or start a school because they feel like, I want to play a part in molding these children's future. Yeah. Do you understand? So it's sad that they have to cut these ethical corners, which should not be, but sad we're seeing it.
It is what it is. You know, I was going to talk about the fact that back in the day, sometimes they make me feel like, I see some situation and it makes me feel like I'm a very old person.
It's okay.
And this thing just happened like a few years ago.
It's very okay.
So, you know, when I was in school, thank God, I did not attend a private secondary school. I went to a federal government school, right? And it's not like the way we have it in private school. I mean, when you go to federal government college, you will even repeat that class.
Yes, like the
we don't even have it now.
Yes.
You will repeat the class because you need to get the opportunity to actually. Sometimes it takes this repeating for people to actually sit up. It's not like you are dull.
Yes.
But you have not realized by the time you repeat and then
you see your mates.
You see your mates, and then you're having to sit down with other people. Sometimes this is all it takes for some people to double up.
And actually took effect on me because when I got to JSS3, my story earlier, I had to like work hard. I got to like the second position.
I mean, look at you now.
It's just like, you know, in universities, right?
Matter.
In the university, when you fail a course, some people will sort it rather than writing the carryover. See, write that carryover because when you're sitting with your juniors in class, your brain will open. The next time you will not want to fail that course. So I feel like we're displacing genuine efforts for appearance.
And I think the approach to education should not be approached like other businesses. You can go and try out other businesses.
Yeah.
But do not approach education in a certain way. Because I literally feel like if you are growing people from, you know, from toddlers to teenagers and all of that, this is the careful point of their life.
Yeah.
That whatever you do, it is going to be based on the fact that, oh, they passed through this level. Sometimes these kids spend more time in school than they spend at home.
Yes.
So you cannot afford to say that, oh, I am setting up something for just business. I mean, you're going to make money at the end of the day. I still mention this statement that regardless of however you present your offer, there are people that will gladly accept it.
Yeah.
So don't bend because of I'm not making money. The people that will come because of the standards you keep, they will come.
All right, so before we continue, let's quickly take a short break. And when we return, we'll continue with this conversation. Stay tuned.
Nigeria, by extension Africa, battles a growing youthful population and with little or no meaningful engagement lives a ticking time bomb on our hands. We are a blessed continent with great wealth, both in people and material. Our focus on ways remains driving conversations that affects us all. Topics in the news, social concerns, politics, leadership, governance, empowerment, resource management, conflict management, finance, SME sustainability, technological innovation, food security, health, education, brain drain, our well-being, citizenship, and much more. Our goal is to continuously drive these conversations, keep them burning at the table to effect a positive change, both for our nation and continent. Ways, what are you saying, has a secret ingredient that completes the conversation every single episode, and that ingredient is you. Our past conversations shaped our yesterday. To shape our tomorrow, we must keep talking. So, I want to hear you. Be a part of our live conversations Mondays through Fridays. And let's all have our say.
Welcome to today's breakfast show. And know that the topic is a report card scam. Know what teachers now do to retain their students. And over time, we've had where even as earlier what Chaba was saying, that some students, right, their parents will even want to pay to get the first position. Yeah. And like, what's the conscience of the teachers if they get back home? Like, what I would even say is this. There are some proprietors, right, even the owners of schools, they actually know what they are doing in the school. They know what their teachers are doing to retain the student. But what they do, I had an experience at a particular school. I don't want to mention the name of the school. The proprietor knows what the teachers usually do in this school. But he will act and feign ignorance to save his conscience. So I wanted to even say that thing when you were talking about, okay, if you get back home, what about your conscience? Yeah. This one knows what they are doing.
It's self-deceit.
It feels that since he's not the one, and they didn't tell him, right, he overheard, like, you know, this kind of rumor, or people come to just say, this is what is happening. You just act like, he doesn't know what is going on in this school, right? But he knows. So he feels that, his own sanity. So after all, it is not him, right? He's not the one doing it, but the teachers. So that's what I want to say. Okay, in that state, that person's conscience will still be saved now, because that's what he's thinking.
He's still committing the same crime.
Excuse me.
Sorry.
You see, a lot of us, we don't have conscience again. Sorry, I'm going to reference the Bible. There's a part that it says some of us have sealed our conscience with hot iron. Oh yes, we have done that.
They've sold
Actually, you see, in this country, some of us don't have conscience anymore. But that's really sad, right? It's really sad. In this bid now, as a teacher, what I expect of you, right? It's going to be tough. In fact, you might risk losing your job. But like I would always ask, what's the cost of your conscience? And have you figured out your own child? Right? How would it... Imagine it's your own child. How would you feel? Well, it all boils down to people not valuing education anymore.
Let me ask Chayam that a teacher once revealed, right, that she was instructed to add scores to failing students, rather. So what do you think are the ethical and professional consequences for a teacher asked to do this?
Okay.
Should it be a fireable offense?
Should it be a viable offense?
Fireable offense, like should they lay off the teacher, or they should,
Now, this was boils down to the school that this is happening to start with. Because I think for a teacher to have the audacity to actually, add marks to certain students, because I know when we have this that is very, in university, you know that before you can hold any lecturer responsible, it's going to take a while because he has that much power and authority to do whatever he wants. But I think when it comes to secondary school, primary school, it is not supposed to be that, they will have the opportunity to just increase the score anyhow. Now, if it happens that, okay, this teacher is now doing these things of our own accord, I really don't think that there should be a mercy to things that comes to education.
Yeah.
Sit at home.
Come on.
Get other business. There are other businesses that you can do that even if you try to maybe falsify, do whatever you want. But stop toying with people's lives. So that's my own opinion. But then it now becomes scary if it is a school thing. That's one I really don't know. I don't know what will be done.
It trickles down.
That I don't know what
And
will
that's
be done.
actually, it's quite rampant in the country where we have most private schools, right, indulging in this act of where they want to falsify students' report card, right, just to get even. At a point, it could even not even be that paying of school fees. It could be also investment. There are some schools that they will write a letter to a particular parent, probably okay because he or she holds a particular governmental position. And once this child is getting good grades, the parents will want to invest in the school, probably by donating a bus. You know, this PTA, head of PTA meeting, donating a bus, you know, giving.
Speaking of PTA, have you realized that PTA chairman is now the richest person?
man.
That's the truth.
There is another side to, you know, the things that causes these schools to actually be under pressure, which is the fact that they also want to increase their standing. You know, there is also something called society, you know, how society perceive them. Because I remember that when I was in primary school, you have something like, okay, these are the top 5 schools in Kwara State. And the reason why it's like that is based on performances.
And their prestige.
So sometimes it is not even the parent that is sending them. It is not even school fees. It is not even anything.
It's a class thing.
Because they want to be perceived in a kind of way. Because they want to reach certain standing. You that you just started your school 2 years ago, you're expecting to be able to compete. I mean, it's okay to want to compete. It's okay to want to, what's it called? But I don't think that pressure is needed. So that's another part of the story.
So, Choma, what do you think should be the long-term consequence, right, for a child who is consistently given inflated grades? Like, how does this affect their self-worth, their motivation, and their ability to succeed in the real world?
First of all, it makes you a societal nuisance. That's what it does to you. Because now you've grown up with a sense of entitlement, that you deserve it even when you don't work for it. Second of all, you can't prove your worth anywhere because there's no worth to prove. Actually, there isn't. Yeah? What is in your brain?
Coconut.
And it is this very young that we grow.
Yes, and
to become
like I
something
said,
else.
this is your foundation. What is in your brain? When did you learn how to count? When did you learn basic arithmetic? It's now, primary school. Do you understand? So there's no worth to prove. And then now when you see that things are not gravitating towards you like it used to, you start feeling like the world hates you. You start feeling disadvantaged. It tells on your esteem. And that's why people are suicidal. Depression is here and there because some people can't get what they think they deserve. Meanwhile, you've not worked for it. Life doesn't work like that. Maybe your enabling parents died off. And then just because they didn't show you the ropes as how life should work, you now expect everyone to be at your beck and call. No, it doesn't work like that. So the truth is, the repercussions wait for you in front. Whether you like it or yes. Yes, some people say, oh, our parents have planned our life for us. Oh, my next generation is not going to. No. It waits for you somewhere. Because there has to be a test of what you've gone through in this life as a human being. And then when you're faced with that test, that's when you discover that, oh, I did myself a great disservice because there was nothing. And at the end of the day, some people take it out on their parents too. You see people that hate their parents really because you denied me the genuine effort I should have picked up as a child, right? So the ripple effect is numerous.
Okay. So adding to that also as well, you could see that even all the students, if one's parents keep on aiding that practice of continue inflating their grades, I think this situation of where we have half-baked graduates, these students are the ones that go to the universities. And even in the long run, they become half-baked graduates. So aside even becoming half-baked graduates, right, when they go to interview sections, when they grow up, they mess up. That's just it. You see, some of them can't even express themselves.
Gemini.
Yeah, that's why some people even rely totally.
In ChatGPT, usage of your AI tools are beautiful. Yeah. But it takes a smart person to use
That's
AI.
what I said that time, that if ChatGPT is actually meant for smart people.
It is.
Imagine you that your own grades, they've been adding to it. When you get to the university, you also those are the ones that want to do blocking, want to do chukuli, another language. Yes, in my school they used to call it chukuli and everything. So I think this will actually cause a very big effect in a child's life in terms of their self-realization, boldness. Imagine they are among their peers. That's where you start seeing, oh, this jealousy act that this particular friend is doing better than I do. Why? Because your upbringing, even your parents were, they're
cushioning
following you,
you,
pushing you with it, and that had affected you. So that inflation of grades is not really, it's not a good thing that parents and schools should imbibe. Charlie, you want something to say?
Yeah, I wanted to add to what you said, or I wanted to bring out a point from what you said, and actually talk about the fact that, like I would always say, the more we are going, the more scary it gets for the generation. Now, you remember suicidal, you mentioned something related to suicidal thought. Now, we are not even having suicidal thought amongst just the adult only. Even these kids are having suicidal thought, are going into depression. When they can't do something, the normal state, what my own parents will correct me when I was a child, that we cry about it and forget about it, or I might not even cry about it, is what a child will come out to say that I'm going into depression because something that this grade, it's just a very funny thing, right? So the effect of this thing is actually more on the kids itself, the child itself, and it could happen in any way and in different ways possible. It could happen in different ways possible. So let us take care of these kids first. Let us take care of what they are doing. If not, they begin to have different kind of thoughts. They begin to think different kind of things. They begin to do different kind of... So that is just, that is just part of the things that I think that these parents should take care of. Schools should take care of. And not just be focusing on grades. Chioma, some of these kids don't even have, what is it called? Aside school, they don't even have some social balance.
Oh, they don't.
The things that they need to take care of, they are even unable to take care of them. So I just think that there is so much that should be done to make these people better.
All right. So, Chioma, do you have anything input to say?
On what see?
Just briefly, before we read a comment.
Parents should do better, right? Right. Raising a child is not about being woke. It's not about gentle parenting. Give your child what they need at that particular time. There's a time when you can just guide them, advise them. But right now, bend their head and let them pick it up.
Okay. So we have a comment in the comment section. Charam, can you help us with that?
All right. So we have a comment here. This comment says, this is an interesting topic. Give me a minute. So the comment says, this is an interesting topic. Even public schools that we think that they don't falsify result of students. I can say that in public universities, some lecturers do that for their students, which I agree with, right? Don't let us even open universities up.
That's the hub.
Don't let, Okoyemi, thank you so much for this message. This message is coming from Okoyemi. And then he also says that we can trace this history of falsifying result for school students even many years ago, because it is that same students from many years ago that will become a parent.
Exactly. Or even become a teacher. That feels that it's okay to do that. Right?
And then the last one that it says here is that the effect of this is that Nigeria ends up with poor graduates across all industries in the country.
And poor graduates that can't also compete on a global stage. So you see most Nigerians, when they go over there, you want to pick up menial jobs, like maybe painting or all that. Yeah, graduate though, because you don't trust yourself enough to compete on that global stage. And it's really sad. It's really sad. You have a 2-1, you have a first class, you can't defend it. Come on now.
That's just even
come on.
We were talking about a topic last week, before you continue, so you can actually wrap up what you're saying very well. We were talking about a topic last week as regards to the fact that we have AI, we have STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and that there is a default with our own graduates, that we are not producing graduates that can actually stand up to this, the necessary standard. And just like what you are saying now, by the time they move out of the country,
Yeah.
that is when they realize that, oh, this first class that I am actually carrying all over the world. I mean, not to say that our education system is bad in Nigeria, right?
I mean, it's great.
It's great.
To be honest.
We are not talking about
At least
that.
we are fruit of the education system.
Look
We are not
at it.
talking about
Yeah.
that. But we are saying that people are not actually equipped with the necessary things, and we are focusing on what is not necessary.
You know, I had a lecturer in school one time. I did a very complex course in the university, a medical course, by the way. And one time, one semester, there's this textbook that we were using. And then my lecturer says, see, you people will go home and cram the remaining. I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, is that it? Because this is complex. I can't. He said, see, there's no how we can complete it, even with our lecturers.
We don't even know
It
it.
was so sad. It was really sad because how am I supposed to compete on a global stage? Yes, we have Nigerians doing great on a global stage. Nigerians that are really gifted, right? But some people need some sharpening up. Do you understand? So you need to equip me to be able to go stand there and compete. But sometimes you don't even trust yourself enough to do that. You don't trust yourself enough to do
Let me
that.
even add that quickly before we take the last one that we
Yeah,
can wrap
sure.
up. Like what you said concerning some lecturers, even in the school, right, where they would tell you to go and cram this. I was opportunity to experience that. There was a course in my 200 level, right? I had to ask the lecturer a particular question. And I was so certain that this particular lecturer can't even provide answers. You know what the lecturer told me? I should go and read and find out on my own.
You already said I doesn't have answers.
So I
Some of them will give you as
really
assignments.
relate with that. But quickly, what happens in a situation where this particular parent is not indulging this practice of influencing a student's
Grades.
Yes, on the
results,
school side.
and she found out that this is what they are doing to her kid? What should be the solution?
Withdraw your
Withdraw your child.
immediately.
Withdraw your child. Let the
It's as
child
simple
wail.
as
Let
that.
the child cry. My friends,
Withdraw
those
your
friends are not
child.
the future that you need to build. Withdraw your child. In fact, I would prefer you showing me, madam, your child failed here. Your child failed here.
So I can know
then
what to take
will
care of as a
thank
parent.
you and will know what would. You know, some parents dodge their responsibilities. They let teachers raise their children for them. That's why you see after school session closes,
They
will still do extramural
Yeah.
classes. I was passing the location one time just before we wrap up, and then I saw these children tripping, and I'm like, I thought school was on vacation this August, and one of the teachers that boarded the tricycle I was in said, it's extramural class. I said, for what? I said, my child will not do this.
Just like Chanafu said, the Gen
at
Zs
home.
don't really have
I
time
said, for
to
what?
take
Stay
care
at
of
home,
their
play.
children.
It's
my
part of your
God.
development.
All right, so ultimately, a school is built on more than bricks and mortar. It's built on the foundation of trust. And when the trust is broken, the entire system is at risk. While we understand the immense economic pressure schools are under, we cannot allow the burden of survival to compromise a child's education. A fabricated report card is a lie that sells a future that isn't real. It is a stubborn reminder that our values are truly tested in times of crisis. We owe it to our children to protect their right to an honest education, and for the sake of them and also for our nation, we must demand better. And do ensure, right, we call it a wrap here, to ensure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We owe it to our children to protect their right to an honest education, and for the sake